Hey you, welcome back to the deep dive. So, if you're tuning in, you're probably like us, always hunting for a smarter way to learn things.
Definitely.
And today, we're tackling something that, well, it gives a lot of postgraduate hopefuls headaches. Vocabulary.
Yes, the endless lists.
Exactly. Specifically, we're going deep on day 28, part 1 from your English exam prep stuff. But forget just, repeating words over and over.
Right. We want to actually get these words locked in, understand how they work, how they feel in a sentence.
And boost your reading skills while we're at it. Stick around, you'll see why this beats flashcards, I think.
Yeah, think of it like building your own internal dictionary, but one that makes sense,
Well,
with connections, context.
we'll look at what they mean, sure, but also how they're used, little shades of meaning, how they link up, making them really your words.
That's the goal.
So the mission, to give you a real practical grip on these 19 key words. It'll help with the exams, obviously, but also just make you a better, more confident reader in English.
Okay, so where do we start?
Let's start with words linked by the root cap. Basically, here's this idea of taking hold. First one, capture. We all kind of know it means taking possession.
Yeah, the core is seizing, securing something. But what's cool is how that basic action works in different ways. You can capture an animal, physically grab it.
Right.
But then think about his story captured the attention of Hollywood. Now, captured here isn't just attracted. It's stronger, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Attracted feels kind of gentle. Captured sounds like Hollywood was totally hooked, couldn't ignore it. Much more impact.
Exactly. It implies this forceful taking, metaphorical in this case, suggesting real control or total absorption.
Okay, I see. And then there's the company has captured 90% of the market. Let's break that down. 90%.
Whoa. Yeah, that's huge.
So captured here isn't just saying they have a big slice. It feels like they actively fought for it, seized it, and now they hold that dominant spot.
Precisely. It suggests a strategic victory. Successfully gaining and keeping control. So that's taking hold. Now, related to that is holding capacity, the word capacity.
Capacity. Like how much something can hold. The theater has a seating capacity of 2,000. Simple enough? That's the physical space limit.
So the core idea is holding, literally holding people, or maybe having the ability to hold, say, a certain amount of work.
Ah, okay. So it could be physical or abstract.
Exactly. It points to potential or the ability to contain or perform. Like when we say she has an enormous capacity for hard work, that word enormous really amps it up.
Right. It's not just that she can work hard. It's that her ability, her container for it, is massive.
It emphasizes the sheer scale of her ability. And from capacity, naturally, we get capable.
Meaning you have the capacity, the ability to do something.
Makes sense.
Okay, got a handle on cap. Let's switch tracks now to the post words. There are quite a few.
Yeah, there are. And they all kind of circle around this basic idea of placing or putting something somewhere.
Okay, placing or putting. How does that show up? Let's start with dose.
Dose. You mostly hear this with medicine, right?
Yeah, like I always take my daily dose of vitamin C. It's a specific amount, measured out, usually medicine or vitamins, taken regularly.
Exactly. A carefully measured quantity for a specific purpose or effect. Okay, now, how about expose? This takes placing and gives it a twist.
Expose, like revealing something.
Okay.
Or putting someone in contact with something.
Both, yeah. It's about making something visible or subjecting someone to an influence or experience. And it can be positive or negative.
Right, like my job as a journalist is to expose the truth. That's placing information out there, uncovering it.
Yeah.
Active.
Yeah, bringing hidden things to light. Good. But then you've got children are being exposed to new dangers on the internet.
Oof, yeah, that sounds bad.
Totally different vibe, isn't it? Here, exposed means they're vulnerable, placed in a situation where they might encounter harm. Understanding that contrast is key for exam questions about tone or intent.
Definitely. Uncovering truth versus being vulnerable to danger. Big difference. And the noun is exposure.
Yep, exposure. And it carries those same shades of meaning, prolonged exposure to sunlight that's being subjected to something potentially harmful over time.
Okay.
But you can also have media exposure, which is just being placed in the public eye, different context, different feeling.
It's amazing how one root can branch out. Okay. Next, pokey word, posture.
Posture, literally, it's how you place or position your body. Good posture is essential when working at the computer, how you align yourself.
Right, stop slouching. But it has that figurative meaning too, doesn't it? Like an attitude.
Exactly. Like the company has adopted an aggressive posture towards its rivals. It's not how they're standing, it's their strategic position, their attitude. They're placing themselves confrontationally.
So placing your body, replacing your attitude. Got it. Now, dispose. This one seems tricky, like it has a couple of meanings.
Yeah, it does, both related to placing. One is about arranging things. The visitors disposed themselves in a circle around the statue. They deliberately placed or arranged themselves.
Okay, a conscious positioning.
Hmm.
But the one I hear more is dispose of, like we got rid of all the old furniture.
Ah, yes. That's about placing something away, usually for good. Getting rid of it. Discarding.
Putting it in the bin, basically.
Pretty much, and that gives us disposable.
Ah, yeah. Disposable products. Designed to be used once and then disposed of, placed in the trash. Companies produce thousands of different kinds of disposable products. Makes sense.
See? It all links back. Okay, moving on to deposit.
Deposit. Another one with layers, all about placing. As a noun, it's money you place in a bank, right? Deposits can be made at any branch.
Or it could be a down payment on something, placing that first bit of money.
Or like dirt and stuff. Sediment placed by a river, geologically.
Exactly. Yeah. Sediment, minerals placed naturally over time, all involve putting something down, and as a verb.
To place money in the bank, you can withdraw and deposit money. Or just to place something somewhere, maybe for safekeeping.
Yep. The core is the act of placing. Okay, next. Propose.
Propose. Primarily means suggesting something, putting forward an idea. The plan originally proposed was ruled completely unrealistic, placing a suggestion out there.
Right, offering it up for people to consider. But then there's the other big meaning.
Huh? Yeah, asking someone to marry you. He was afraid that if he proposed, she might refuse. Still putting something forward, but way more personal.
Indeed. Same root idea, very different weight. And we also get the noun proposition from this, usually meaning the suggestion or offer itself.
Okay, so suggesting, planning, or popping the question. Got it. Let's move to compose.
Compose. This has the sense of forming something, creating it by putting different parts together. The Earth is composed of several layers. It's about how its parts are placed together, arranged.
Like building blocks, making the whole thing. And it also means creating music or writing, right? You compose a symphony or compose an email.
Exactly. Arranging notes or words into a coherent whole, which leads us nicely to component.
A part placed inside a bigger thing, like strength training is another important component of physical activity.
Precisely. And composition, which is the finished product, the way things are arranged musically, textually, physically.
So putting pieces together.
Okay.
Now impose. This one sounds kind of forceful.
It usually is. Impose means to place something, a rule, a tax, a burden onto someone, often without their agreement, authoritatively. A new tax was imposed on fuel.
Right. It's not a suggestion. It's a demand being placed on people.
Or the time limits are imposed on us by factors outside our control. This really shows that lack of choice, something being forced upon you from outside.
Yeah, you feel that external pressure. Okay, let's switch gears slightly. Positive.
Positive. Generally good. It can mean favorable, beneficial. Overseas investment has had a positive effect on exports. A good result has been placed into effect, you could say.
Yeah, good outcome. Or optimistic. Analysts remain positive on the outlook, placing a hopeful view on the future.
Yes, that's another sense. And of course it means affirmative, like a positive answer, agreeing.
So good in a few ways. Which brings us to oppose, the opposite of positive, in the agreement sense anyway.
Exactly. Oppose is to place yourself against something, to disagree, to resist. The ban was initially opposed by the U.S. They took a stand against it at first.
Okay, positioning yourself against something being put forward. And what about he found himself opposed by his own deputy?
Ooh, that adds drama, doesn't it? It suggests unexpected resistance, someone from within placing themselves against him.
Yeah, internal conflict. And someone who opposes you is your
opponent, someone placed against you in competition or disagreement.
Like in sports or politics. They listen carefully to their opponent's views. Good advice, even if you disagree.
Always wise. Okay, that's a lot of pies words. We covered a lot of ground there.
We did. Now let's look at a couple related to rival competition, right?
Yeah, exactly. First, the word rival itself.
A competitor.
Yeah.
Someone you're trying to beat. She has no rivals for the job, meaning she's the only one qualified, no competition.
Precisely. She's uniquely positioned. And there's a great example from an old exam question. Court, school, Organizations of amateurs and the traveling actors were all rivals in supplying a widespread desire for dramatic entertainment.
Okay, let's unpack that.
Sure.
So back then, all these different groups, the royal court, schools, amateur groups, traveling troops, they were all competing, vying to give people the plays they wanted.
Exactly. They were all rivals for the audience's attention and money. Understanding rivals there helps you grasp the whole structure of entertainment at the time. It wasn't just actors competing, but institutions.
Right, and knowing that specific meaning is probably crucial for answering a question about that passage correctly, shows how vocab ties directly into reading comprehension.
Absolutely. It's often these key words that unlock the meaning in academic texts. Now, the other related word is trivial.
Trivial means unimportant, insignificant, right?
Mm-hmm. Apparently, trivial clues may turn out to be quite important.
That's a good one. A reminder not to dismiss the small stuff. Things that look unimportant might actually be key.
Precisely. Deceptively insignificant. Okay, final group. Our vis words, all linked to the idea of seeing.
Seeing, like with your eyes, or understanding.
Both, actually. First, devise.
Devise. Sounds like coming up with something. Inventing.
Yeah, inventing or creating a plan, a method, often cleverly. It was at that moment that I devised an idea to run away. Like an idea suddenly came into view, you saw a solution.
Ah, like a flash of insight. And we must devise a new system for dealing with complaints. That's about needing to invent, to see a structured way forward.
Exactly. Using your mind to see or create a solution. Next, straightforward. Visible.
Able to be seen. There is no visible evidence to support his idea. You just can't see any proof.
Simple as that. And the opposite, of course, is invisible.
Right. Okay, now revise. This has a couple of meanings, too, both about seeing again.
It does. One is to modify or change something after looking at it again. The government may need to revise its policy in the light of this report. They see the report, they might change the policy.
Okay, altering based on review. That's a big one for students.
Is studying again. I spent the weekend revising for my exam. Literally looking over your notes and materials again to prepare. Seeing it again.
Yep, definitely familiar with that one. And finally, vision.
Vision covers a few things related to seeing. Your actual eyesight. Cats have good night vision. Physical ability to see.
Okay.
But also imagination or foresight, the ability to see or plan for the future intelligently. His plans for the country's future show a remarkable breadth of vision, seeing what's possible down the road.
So physical sight, but also mental sight, like planning and insight. Wow. Okay, that wraps up our deep dive on these 19 words from Day 28, Part 1. Hopefully you listening have got a much richer sense of them now, way beyond just definitions. We've looked at the nuances, the examples, the roots connecting them.
Absolutely. The real goal here is that deep linked understanding. It's going to seriously boost your vocabulary. And how well you understand complex English texts vital for those exams and just, well, life.
So what now? Your job is to really engage with these words. Spot them when you're reading, look for them in your study materials, maybe even try using them yourself.
Yeah, the more you interact, the more they stick and become natural.
Definitely.
And maybe think about this, how understanding these roots, these connections, can unlock even more words for you. What other word families could you explore like this in your studies? Something to chew on.